Hello and welcome to today's business headlines and entrepreneur news. Let's get started. Today we're going to talk about Americans moving to Europe to save money because things are cheaper in Europe, in some parts of Europe. We're going to talk about shrinkflation, definitely. And maybe I'll choose one of these like 15 other articles. There's a lot to talk about in business news. So let's get started with seeking cheaper housing. Americans are moving to Europe. The expat lifestyle is becoming more than a TikTok trend. Americans are relocating to Europe in greater numbers than in years past, Bloomberg reported on Thursday. With the dollar strong against the euro, an intense housing market, and a tumultuous political environment, U.S. residents are moving to France, Spain, and Portugal, the story added. One woman, Stephanie Sinclair, told the outlet she struggled to buy a home in Atlanta, even with $300,000 in cash in her pocket. So instead, she bought two homes in Italy and a storefront for 60,000 euros in April. What the? So she couldn't afford a home in the United States. She went to Europe. She could afford two homes and a storefront for 60,000 euros in April. Wow. That's amazing. I would never have looked to buy in Italy if does she speak Italian? I guess the language barrier could be something that stops people from doing this. Like, yeah, you have the money to buy this property in Italy, but do you speak Italian? Can you, like, how are you gonna live off of Italy? Or it depends on what you do, I guess. Like, if you're doing something digital, it doesn't really matter where you go. But yeah, that's crazy. Two houses and a storefront for the same price of a house in Atlanta. Insane. I would never have looked to buy in Italy if the market in the US hadn't been so crazy, Sinclair said. There's data to back it up. Sotheby's International's Realty told Bloomberg that American inquiries about moving to Greece are up by 40% to April, June 2001. And Greece, why Greece? 40% up in Greece because Greece just suffered basically a collapse of their economy. So okay, so I get it. They're cheap. It's cheap to buy property over there because of that. Kind of crazy. And that Americans contributed 12% of their Italy-based revenue in quarter 1 2022. Last year, the number was 5%. I'm going to read that again. There's data to back it up. Sotheby's International Realty told Bloomberg that American inquiries about moving to Greece are up by 40% compared to April June 2021, and that Americans contributed 12% of their Italy-based revenue in quarter 1 2022. Last year, that number was 5%. So it went up from 5% to 12% of Americans um, contributing to Italy-based revenue. So there is people moving. There are people moving that way. Moving abroad can be tricky, but in some ways, it's gotten easier in the remote work era. Countries like Iceland, Portugal, and Antigua, for example, will let workers live there for 1 or even 2 years pending approval from various programs according to insiders. So you can live there and then get your papers worked out later. You can also buy a property or invest on a certain amount of money in a country to get a golden visa. I have heard about this golden visa opportunities. If you spend a certain amount, you get this visa. I've heard it for Portugal. Interest in these programs tend to increase when things are unsettled in the U.S. Murat, consumer manager, partner of Get Golden Visa, told Fortune. On TikTok, inspired issues like gun violence and healthcare access are discussed widely on tags like expat and have billions of views. There's also a wealth of advice out there for entrepreneurs who seek to move abroad. Jamie Dixon, remote worker and mom of one, told Bloomberg that part of the reason she moved to Portugal with her family last year was because of anxiety over crime and politics. Violence has gone up so much in the US, she told the outlet. I wanted to give my kid a normal childhood. Wow. Yes, I'm very aware of the violence situation in the US, and it's not shocking this sentence. I wanted to give my kid a normal childhood, so I'm moving from the United States to Europe. It is a surprising line to hear or to read. Um, I'm I'm I don't like the fact that it has gotten to this point, but I can totally understand the feeling of this single mom of one, and why she wants to move to Europe to give her son a normal childhood. I don't think anybody has like a normal childhood, but I understand the feeling, and wow, it's just amazing. This sentence. I'm in the U.S. and I want to give my normal childhood, so I moved to Europe. So yes, I think that some parts of Europe can be very cheap. I think places like Greece that have, their economy has suffered recently, also could be very cheap. And we'll just see where this story goes. All right, moving on to the next part. I wanted to talk about shrinkflation. So, shrinkflation accelerates globally as manufacturers quietly shrink package sizes. I'm going to read and then react, I think, is the best way. So, it's the inflation you're not supposed to see. From toilet paper to yogurt to coffee to corn chips, manufacturers are quietly shrinking package size without lowering prices. It's dubbed shrinkflation and it's accelerating worldwide. In the US, a small box of Kleenex now has 60 tissues. A few months ago, it had 65. Chobani Flips yogurts have shrunk from 5.3 ounces to 4.5 ounces. In the UK, Nestle slimmed down its Nescafe Acera Americano coffee tins from 100 grams to 90 grams. In India, a bar of Vim dish soap has shrunk from 155 grams to 135 grams. Shrinkflation isn't new, experts say, but it proliferates in times of high inflation as companies grapple with rising costs for ingredients, packaging, labor, and transportation. Global consumer price inflation was up an estimated 7% in May, a pace that will likely continue through September, according to S&P Global. It comes in waves. We happen to be in a tidal wave at the moment because of inflation, says Edgar Drowsky, a consumer advocate and former assistant attorney general in Massachusetts, who has who has documented shrinkflation on his Consumer World website for decades. Uh, Dworsky began noticing smaller boxes in the cereal aisle last fall, and shrinkflation has ballooned from there. We can cite dozens of examples from Cottonelle Ultra Clean Care toilet paper, which has shrunk from 340 sheets per roll to 312, to Folgers Coffee, which downsized its 51-ounce container to 43.5 ounces, but it still says it will make up to 400 cups. Folger says it's using a new technology that results in lighter weight beans. Oh man. So prices are staying the same, but you're getting less amount of product. So actually, I think the best part of this are some of the images. We saw a little bit over here from Gatorade, but I want to look up at some other images that will give a really clear picture of this shrinkflation. And let me see if I can find the Gatorade one because it's so hilarious. You had this really thick Gatorade bottle, and then Gatorade said that they were coming out with this design for the new bottle because it was easier to grip. Oh, such lies, straight up lies. This is part of shrinkflation, but I'm not gonna lie. The new Gatorade bottle, she kind of bad. I would date this. And there's others examples like the Coca-Cola bottle that gets taller but actually has less drink in it than the other Coca-Cola bottle, the previous Coca-Cola bottle. And it's everywhere. The Pringles are getting smaller, things like that. Prices stay the same, but you're just getting less product. Is the overall, the main gist of shrinkflation. Let's keep reading. Dworsky said shrinkflation appeals to manufacturers because they know customers will notice the price increase, but won't keep track of net weights or small details like the number of sheets on a roll of toilet paper. Companies can also employ tricks to draw attention away from downsizing, like marking smaller packages with bright new labels that draw shoppers' eyes. 3 layers strong. Okay, so yeah, here we have a Kleenex. It went from 65 sheets to uh, 60 tissues. That's what Fritos did. Bags of Fritos, scoops marked party size used to be 18 ounces. Some are still on sale at the grocery chains in Texas, but almost every other big chain is now advertising party size Frito scoops that are 15.5 ounces and more expensive. PepsiCo didn't respond when asked about Fritos, but it did acknowledge the shrinking of Gatorade bottles. Oh, so Gatorade from Pepsi. The company recently began phasing out 32-ounce bottles in favor of 28-ounce ones, which are tapered in the middle to make it easier to hold them, supposedly. The changeover has been in the works for years and isn't related to the current economic climate, PepsiCo said, but it didn't respond when asked why the 20-ounce version is more expensive. Likewise, Kimberly Clark, which makes both Cottonelle and Kleenex, didn't respond to requests for comment on the reduced package sizes. Procter& Gamble Company didn't respond when asked about Pantene Pro V Curl Perfection Conditioner, which downsized from 12 fluid ounces to 10.4 fluid ounces, but still costs $3.99. What kind of comment are these news outlets looking for? Like, yeah, shit's more expensive now. uh, you know, um, inflation. What can I say? That's all. That's what a spokesperson would have to say. Like, yeah, it's more expensive. We're under huge pressure. Earth's best organic sunny day snack bars went from eight bars per box to seven, but the price listed at multiple stores remained $3.69. Hanes Celestial Group, the brand's owner, didn't respond to emails seeking comment. Some companies are straightforward about the changes. In Japan, snack maker Calbee Inc. announced 10% weight reductions and 10% price increases for many of its products in May, including veggie chips and crispy edamame. The company blamed a sharp rise in the cost of raw materials. Domino's Pizza announced in January it was shrinking its size of its 10-piece chicken wing to 8 pieces for the same $7.99 carry-out price. $8, okay, I guess. Domino's cited the rising cost of chicken. In India, down switching, another term of shrinkflation, is mostly done in rural areas where people are poorer and more price sensitive, said Bayasanan, head of corporate communications of the Boor India consumer care and food business. In cities, companies simply jack up prices. The company has been doing it openly for ages, Anand said. Some customers who have noticed the downsizing are sharing examples on social media. Others say shrinkflation is causing them to change their shopping habits. Alex Aspisher does a lot of grocery shopping and meal planning for his family of four in Haskins, Ohio. He noticed when the 1 pound package of sliced Swiss cheese he used to buy shrank to 12 ounces but kept its $9.99 price tag. Now he hunts for deals or buys a block of cheese and slices it himself. Aspersher said he knew prices would rise when he started reading about higher wages for grocery workers, but the speed of the change and the shrinking packages have surprised him. And this is something that um, I think I made a comment about this. Is that it's not really surprising, but the speed at which things are moving is really surprising. Um, I'm not sure if because we live in an age where communication can travel faster, but a lot of these things are just happening in a speed that is very easy to tell that it's happening. And because we have social media, it's easier to share that knowledge. And maybe it just feels like things are happening faster, but it does feel like the effects of inflation are affecting everybody really quickly. Uh, anyways, um, I was prepared for it to a degree, but there hasn't been a limit to it so far, Asperger said. I hope we can find a ceiling pretty soon. Wow. Sometimes the trend can reverse as inflation eases. Competition might force manufacturers to lower their prices or reintroduce large packages. But Dorsky says on a product, once a product has gotten smaller, it often stays that way. Upsizing is kind of rare, he said. Uh, yeah, I can see that happening. So when the economy recovers, they might lower the price, but they might not offer more product. Um, Hitendra Chaturvedi, Itendra Chaturvedi, a professor of supply chain management in Arizona State University, University's WP Carey School of Business, says he has no doubt many companies are struggling with labor shortages and higher raw material costs. But in some cases, companies' profits or sales minus the costs of doing business are also increasing exponentially. Chaturvedi finds that troubling. He points to Mondelez's International, which took some heat this spring for shrinking the size of its Cadbury Dairy Milk bar in the UK without lowering the price. The company's operating income climbed 21% in 2021, but fell 15% in the first quarter as cost pressure grew. But by comparison, Pepsi, wow, let me read that again because it's interesting. The company's operating income climbed 21% in 2021, but fell 15% in the first quarter as cost pressures grew. Operating income. I'm not sure what the operating income is, to be sincere. By comparing, PepsiCo's operating profit climbed 11% in 2021 and 12% in the first quarter. I'm not saying there's profiteering, but it smells like it, Shadbury said. Are we using supply constraints as a weapon to make more money? Yes. When has that not happened? When have manufacturers, I know of one time when that hasn't happened. And again, let me just look this up because I mentioned it during the previous video. Arizona tea refuses to raise prices above 99 cents. And I hope that we can get an article over here so I can read it because it's really connected to shrinkflation. So here's what happens when a company doesn't want to do that. They don't want to shrink the packages. They don't want to increase the prices. They just want to absorb the higher costs. Let's see what happens. Arizona iced tea keeps 99-cent can price despite surging inflation. Co-founder says consumers deserve a break. Nice, absolutely amazing. Arizona Beverages beverage chair says right now we have no intention of raising prices on all products. Don Voltaggio, the chairman of and co-founder of Arizona Beverages, the maker of 99-cent iced tea, declared on Cavuto Coast to Coast Thursday that right now he has no intention of raising prices, even with inflation accelerating to 4 decades high. Voltaggio told Neil Cavuto that consumers deserve a break. Rising food costs pounding shoppers. This is just a link. The Labor Department said earlier this month that the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which measures a bevy of goods including gasoline, healthcare, groceries, and rents, rose 8.5% in March from a year ago, the fastest pace since December 1981, when inflation hit 8.9. Prices jumped 1.2% in a 1 month period from February, the largest month to month jump since 2005. Yes, inflation hit 8.9%. That's just a scary number of inflation from 1 month to the next. Food prices have also climbed 8.8% higher over the year and 1% over the month. What I'm hearing lately is a lot of companies are reporting earnings, and their earnings are up because they have raised the price, Voltaggio said. I don't think people need another price increase right now. So, what he's saying is that in times of pandemic, in these dire times when people are suffering because they can't get their rent up, they can't put fuel in their vehicle in order to go to work, these companies are making profit. The companies that are selling you toilet paper, that are selling you food, that are selling you the basic necessities, they are making more profit than last year. And Arizona Tea looked at that and said, I think there's something wrong with that. I don't think the people need another price increase right now from Arizona Tea when they're already facing all of these price increases from their toiletries, from the means that they get to work, from housing, etc. So absolutely commendable. As the cost of everything from gas to food has soared in recent months, the price of Arizona iced tea has remained the same, with a 23-ounce can of Arizona iced tea costing just 99 cents, and the same price as when Voltaggio first introduced the drink 3 decades ago. The price of aluminum used to make the cans has increased recently, with the Russian invasion of Ukraine making matters worse, given Russia is one of the world's biggest aluminum producers. When asked how long the company can absorb higher input costs, Voltaggio responded, "We'll see." All right, that's fair. Sorry. So far, we've been able to do it, he told Kabuto. It seems like things are easing off a bit on some of the costs that were spiraling way out of control, and we'll see how things handle themselves over the next few months. I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty. He's not saying this is gonna go on forever. Yeah, we're gonna keep it 99 cents till 3022. No, he's not saying that. He's just saying that right now, he's willing to take less profit, or coming out zeros. Right now, we have no intention of raising prices, Voltaggio continued. We think the consumer deserves a deal and a break, and we're trying to give them that break. He noticed that the efficiency of his plants helps keep the prices stable. When we started out in 1992, we were running the cans on fillers that run 150 a minute. Today, we run 15,000 a minute. That's a big move from an efficiency point of view, Voltaggio told Cabuto. He also noted that in a new plant in New Jersey is very automated and includes robotic warehousing. I built the business on planning for the worst and hoping for the best. And when you get into a rough time like this, you're able to maneuver through it, he said. That's funny. All right, so Arizona Tea not passing on the costs of inflation over to the consumer. They are absorbing those costs, and it just goes to show you that I consider Arizona to be actually a big business, and it just goes to show you that not all big businesses work under the same values. So I'm gonna buy Arizona iced tea from now on. No more Gatorade. Uh, Buying everything Arizona, whatever they have to offer, I'm buying, because I believe in their morals. I believe in their message and the way that they're treating the consumer. These other companies taking advantage, making more profit. Yes, that's profiteering. That's taking advantage of dire, these dire times and trying to make a profit. Uh, trying to make more profit than last year for what? For the shareholders. I don't agree with that at all. So I think this is a good way to or a good part to end this. There's a lot more articles. There's a lot more things that I want to get out there to read because I'm not sure how many people are actually reading the news. So I really want to get this out there. I want people to start at least listening to business news and just get in the habit of knowing what is happening to the money. So, that's everything for today. Interact with the video wherever it is posted. Subscribe to any of the channels where you see it posted. And, if you want me to cover something, feel free to leave that in any comment section where you see this. Thank you so much for your time and your attention for being with me today. And have a great day. Bye bye.